Bárbaros, no hace falta que te recuerde por qué estás luchando contra el enemigo.
Papá,
than Jean and appeared to be his caretaker. So when she appears, there's no one to care for him. The medical examiner says that he...
In the 1990s, Gene Hackman turned down not one, but two high-profile projects simply because Tom Cruise was attached to them. To those close to him, his reasoning was unwavering. "I won't be another cog in that machine," he reportedly said. Hackman referred to Cruise as Hollywood's most dangerous missionary, a chilling label that reflected his belief that Cruise wasn't just a star, but a gatekeeper for something much larger. Hackman's paranoia was...
It's quite possible that he was not aware that she was deceased. And I think that question's difficult to answer, but I can tell you that he was in an advanced state of Alzheimer's, and it
isn't entirely unfounded. When it comes to Gene Hackman's career, the man was a powerhouse of talent. His performances in films like But the most damning evidence of Hackman's discomfort with Cruise came from a conversation he allegedly had with a former journalist-turned-Hollywood whistleblower. This individual, who had worked closely with a so-called fixer, a shadowy figure or group tasked with cleaning up Hollywood's messiest scandals, shared chilling accounts of how Cruise's connections had helped him weather storms that would have destroyed others. Hackman was said to have recorded parts of this conversation. Adding to the mystery is the
Long-time love, Betsy Arakawa, hantavirus. It's a rare flu-like disease linked to rats. And officials say Hackman's advanced Alzheimer's was so severe.
Yes, you heard that right. Just hours after authorities left the scene, someone broke into the property. But here's the kicker, nothing else was taken. Family photos, furniture, even valuables like jewelry were left untouched. The only things missing? Items related to Hackman's so-called Hollywood files. Whoever did this wasn't looking for money or possessions, they were looking for INF. The mystery surrounding Gene Hackman's final days, and the secrets he kept, leaves us with more questions than answers. What do you think really happened to Hackman and his wife? Could the missing tapes and notes hold the key to unraveling this enigma? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going and see if we can piece together this Hollywood puzzle. Until next time, stay curious and keep the speculation.
Stage of Alzheimer's, and it's possible he just didn't know, or she. For some people, that raises more questions, and some of what they said yesterday just really as shocking as a revelation that Hackman and his wife to begin with. Some of the timeline, the fact that Betsy was seen on camera at a CVS pharmacy just shortly before.
Observations and incidents he'd witnessed over the decades. Friends described these notes as a map of Hollywood's underbelly, filled with connections and insights only someone with Hackman's experience could compile. But when investigators searched his home, many of T. And let's not forget the role of Hollywood itself. The industry has a long history of covering up scandals to protect its biggest stars and most
shocking and heartbreaking, but investigators say it's unclear if Hackman knew that his wife of 30 years was
saved with a well-placed bribe. He understood the machinery of Hollywood because he had been a part of it for so long. But in his later years, he seemed determined to expose it, to shine a light on the dark corners everyone else ignored. Then there's the silence from those who might know more. In the days following Hackman's passing, several close friends and former colleagues were approached for comment. Most declined, citing privacy or a lack of information. But a few hinted at something deeper. One anonymous source, a former journalist who had worked with Hackman on uncovering Hollywood
death of actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy. The Santa Fe Medical Examiner revealing autopsy results that they believe show that Hackman died of heart disease with complications from Alzheimer's.
Now let's talk about what was missing, because sometimes it's what isn't there that tells the real story. In Hackman's home, authorities found an open safe. Inside? Nothing. No documents, no tapes, nothing of any apparent value. This was the same safe where Hackman reportedly stored the infamous recording of his conversation with a former insider tied to Hollywood's so-called fixer. That tape, according to those familiar with Hackman's later years, was Here's where things get even murkier. The initial reports ruled out carbon monoxide poisoning, one of the first things investigators checked, given the enclosed space and the presence.
Speak a little bit in reference to the timeline. She picked up Xena from Gruta Vet. We know from our with the dog, which may explain veterinary hospital. There was a procedure that was done.
Eastwood wasn't the only name that seemed to haunt Gene Hackman. If there was one figure he loathed even more, it was Tom Cruise. The two never shared the screen, but their paths crossed enough times to ignite a deep-seated animosity, at least on Hackman's side. Cruise, with his megawatt smile and larger-than-life persona, represented everything Hackman distrusted about Hollywood. But there was something else, something more sinister. Hackman was deeply wary of Cruise's ties to SC. Here's where things get even murkier. Then there's the matter of the pills. On the bathroom counter near Betsy, investigators found an open prescription bottle with several spilled pills. The medications included treatments for blood pressure and thyroid issues, as well as a common pain reliever. But here's the thing, there's no evidence, at least not yet, to suggest she overdosed or misused them. And even if she had, would that...
I feel sorry that he is this web that he doesn't seem to be able to find his way out of. Not the same with Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is a phony nut.
But behind the accolades, beneath the reserved demeanor, and beyond his retreat into a quiet life in Santa Fe,
I don't care about money and power. I care about when I watch Al Pacino work and Chris Walken and Richard Harris's work and Ray Winston.
Figures. Hackman was never the secrets even the most seasoned Hollywood insiders could hardly fathom. Secrets that, if exposed, could shatter the carefully constructed facade of some of the industry's most...
You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
You try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners. And
everybody was passed out, don't look. Yes, I put my ear to the door.
And let's not overlook the pattern. This isn't the first time Diddy has been accused of crossing boundaries with young male artists. Jaguar Wright has repeatedly spoken out about a larger culture of exploitation within the music industry, pointing to other artists who may have faced similar experiences. She has even mentioned Meek Mill, suggesting that he, too, was caught up in these troubling dynamics during his rise to fame. Meek has strongly denied such claims, taking to social media to deaf. As discussions around these allegations intensify, so does the public's demand for accountability. Fans are calling for an investigation, not
a co-conspirator. Right now, there are people in the indictment who would be co-conspirators, but clearly have played a role. Prosecutors have some big leverage on them because they're hoping Diddy as prosecution witnesses.
What's clear just into Diddy's behavior, but into the broader culture of exploitation that seems to permeate the entertainment industry. Meanwhile, Justin Bieber has remained largely silent on these issues, but his actions speak volumes. In recent months, he has distanced himself from Diddy, unfollowing him on social media and publicly cutting ties. Jaguar Wright argues that the key to understanding Justin Bieber's troubled past lies in his formative years, particularly in his interactions with figures like Diddy. She points to footage where Justin appears visibly uncomfortable.
The downfall to go from, we saw the mansions back were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to be, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's faced.
While speaking with Diddy. In one clip, Diddy is seen patting Justin down, almost as if checking for a hidden microphone. Whatever was whispered between them in that moment, Justin ends the exchange with a hesitant "love you," a phrase that now feels heavy with unspoke. Diddy's reputation in the industry has always been complicated. On the surface, he's a charismatic entrepreneur, a hitmaker, and a larger-than-life personality.
Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors, personal assistants, security staff, and households.
But behind closed doors, rumors have swirled for years about his so-called mentorship of young male artists. According to Jaguar Wright, Diddy's intentions were far from innocent when he took Justin Bieber under his wing. She claims that Diddy's infamous 48-hour hangout with a then underage Justin marked the beginning of a deeply troubling. A dimly lit room, muffled conversations blend with grainy footage surfacing online, footage that has everyone
talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racket, the next phase of action following the indictment as investigators were
talking. It's a clip that raises more questions than answers, featuring Justin Bieber, Odell Beckham Jr., and Trey Songz caught in what many are calling a compromising situation. But the real shocker? Jaguar Wright, the outspoken R&B singer and industry insider, has stepped forward with claims that this isn't just another wild party moment. According to Wright, this video is part of AM. But let's rewind for a moment. Justin Bieber was still a minor when he was discovered, a small-town Canadian with. Wright also draws parallels between Justin Bieber's experiences and those of other male artists who have crossed paths with Diddy. Take Usher, for example. He has spoken in cryptic terms about his time living with Diddy as a teenager. In one interview, Diddy himself made a flippant remark about sharing a bed with Usher, a comment that raised eyebrows.
Dope rapper, but I think sometimes Meek falls victim to my name. Yeah. And the more he responds, the more.
But was largely dismissed at the time. Now, in light of Wright's claims, these anecdotes take on a much darker significance. Was Usher like Justy? And let's not forget the bigger picture. This isn't the first time Diddy has faced accusations of crossing the line with young male artists. Jaguar Wright has been outspoken about similar instances, implicating not just Diddy but a broader culture of exploitation within the music industry. She has previously called out names like Meek Mill, suggesting that he, too, fell victim to these dynamics during his rise to fame. Meek, for his part, has vehemently denied such rumors, even taking to social. Let's talk about Usher for a moment. Long before Justin Bieber entered the scene, Usher was Diddy's golden boy.
Pretty early in the proceedings. I think it's only been about a month arraigned and held in detention, and so be a continuous and ongoing process. I'm sure at this discovery, and not only that, but I think there's been a gag.
Another young artist with undeniable talent who found himself under the wing of the bad boy mogul. Usher has never fully opened up about his time living with Diddy as a teenager, but the few details he has shared are enough to raise eyebrows. In one infamous interview, Diddy casually mentioned that he and Usher used to share a bed. He tried to play it off as a joke, saying they were. There's one particularly infamous photo that fans frequently reference when discussing Meek Mill's relationship with Diddy. It shows the two of them wearing matching pajamas at what appears to be a private gathering. On the surface, it might seem harmless, just a quirky fashion choice, nothing more.
In her civil lawsuit, Kathy, victim of abuse.
But when viewed in the context of the allegations surrounding Diddy, the image takes on a whole new meaning. Was this just a playful moment between friends, or did it hint at a deeper, more complex? The most chilling part of this narrative is how easily these dynamics can be hidden in plain sight. Diddy's larger-than-life persona has always been a double-edged sword. On one hand, it has made him one of the most successful and influential figures in the music industry. On the other, it has allowed him to deflect scrutiny, using his charm and charisma to obscure the darker aspects of his reputation. And for years, it worked. Fans and industry insiders alike were quick to dismiss rumors. And then there's Justin Bieber, who, despite distancing himself from Diddy in recent years, still seems to carry the weight of those early experiences. His 2020 interview with Zane Lowe, where he broke...
We could get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100% the false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see it.
Broke down while talking about Billie Eilish, offers a glimpse into the emotional toll his career has taken on him. I just want to protect her, Justin said, his voice trembling. I don't want her to go through anything I went through. It was a rare moment of vulnerability. Jaguar Wright has been one of the loudest voices drawing attention to this troubling dynamic. She claims that Usher's time with Diddy wasn't just about learning the ropes of the music industry, it was about being exposed to a lifestyle no young person should ever have to navigate. According to Wright, Diddy's so-called mentorship often blurred the lines between professional guidance and personal exploitation.